We knew this was going to be ugly. We knew that this team was not going to be great. But to the extent that we are seeing the Chicago Blackhawks go out there and play this season, I don't know if this was in anybody's cards. Today we're talking about Connor Bedard, first overall pick 2023 NHL Entry Draft, and beloved mod in our YouTube live streams here. Yeah, I'm not going to let that down. If anybody knows where that's from, then you are a real one. But Connor Bedard needs help, dude. Yesterday, Chicago versus Boston, the Bruins end up winning 3-0. The Blackhawks have nothing on the board. And when it comes to the way Boston was able to, I don't want to say dominate per se, but just kind of control the game, win the game, and do what it is that they wanted to do, you had everything go wrong for Chicago in the ways that just kind of get you pitying Bedard and the situation over there. You see, Bedard actually scored a goal yesterday against Boston, but it was taken away because of the zone entry. It was offside, or at least that's what they concluded. They didn't really show any video evidence that made it definitively look like it was offside, but I don't know, that's what they said. The TV broadcast didn't really do it justice, but at the end of the day, 40 seconds-ish before the Bedard goal was even scored, you had yourselves the Blackhawks going offside, thus vetoing Bedard from actually getting yet another goal and scoring his would have been third of the season. Now, the thing is, Bedard is at 4 points in 7 games played right now at the time of recording this audio, and if that continues, he'll get 46 points in 82 games played, which isn't particularly, amazing. It's not stellar. A lot of people were projecting, hey, could Bedard get 100 points this season? Is he going to get 70? I think most people in their mind's eye kind of had Bedard panning out as an immediate 60-plus point guy, and that's more on the conservative side of things. So for him to be on a 46-point pace within the first few weeks of the NHL season, it is a little bit subversive to our expectations. However, if you've been watching these games, if you've been seeing the Blackhawks in their feeds, you can see that Connor Bedard is not the problem. He's not the guy going out here and disappointing. Instead, the ones doing that are literally everybody else on the Blackhawks. You see, he's not first in point production on the team. That honor belongs to Corey Perry, who has 5 points in 7 games on the season. Perry is not playing with Connor Bedard. They're playing on separate lines. And when it comes to how Bedard is actually playing and whom he's playing with, I mean, he's on a line with Nick Foligno and Tyler Johnson, 2 guys that are at 3 points in 7 games, but 2 guys that if you watch the games going on, they just absolutely don't give Bedard anything to work with. These guys, for the life of them, just cannot play in a way that actually allows Bedard to excel and build off of what it is he's capable of doing. Bedard looks good. In fact, you can watch these games and see the shifts and see how he controls the play, see how he moves around in the offensive zone, see how he takes his time, how he dangles by guys, how he forces opportunities by going into the middle and shooting. These are all elite talents that he does have and he has exhibited, but we know in the sport of hockey, one guy can't do it all, and Connor Bedard, being literally the only play-driving player on his line, has been boding so poorly in terms of the on-ice results. You want to know who actually can help out Connor Bedard and who maybe has the talent to keep up and build off of his skill set? Taylor Hall, but that guy's not playing right now. Oh, okay. You know who else is actually pretty good too? And I've been seeing Blackhawks fans clamoring for this to be a line? Lukas Reichel, newly appointed first-line center of the team. And I say it like that because Reichel being played with Athanasiou and Radish actually is a much better set of wingers than Tyler Johnson and Foligno. Also, you have yourselves the fact that Reichel is just the most dynamic and talented player on this Blackhawks forward core aside Connor Bedard. Plus, there's versatility here. Reichel can play the wing if you force him to. So the fact that you're not doing this in Chicago, you're not giving Bedard that line mate to actually work off of and build chemistry with, it just does not feel good to watch. You're looking at these Blackhawks games and you're seeing what's going down, and you're not seeing anything productive here. In fact, let's go over onto the Chicago Blackhawks subreddit, because in the post-game thread of Boston versus Chicago from yesterday, there were an interesting amount of comments from the Blackhawks fan base. Firstly, I wanted to look up was a comment here by Fill in the Blank 90. We seem to run out of gas by the third period, which has also been a common mistake last year. Bedard needs help. Every team we play is putting their best players on him, which makes it hard for him to do his thing. The Hawks were beaten up physically, and once they started to get behind, they were chasing the puck. It'll happen when half the team is so young playing against a great team. Bedard seems to be able to be taken out of the play by a guy like Marchand. He either needs a big physical guy in his corner, or to figure out how to deal with a pest. I'd like to sometimes get a guy like Corey Perry to jump up on his line and be an a-hole back when that happens, but I'm not sure how much that would mess up with the game plan. Still, it'd be fun seeing Marchand have to deal with someone bigger than him. This is because during the game yesterday, you had Brad Marchand actually go out there and taunt Bedard again, trying to, I don't know, get under his skin, kind of mess around with the guy. You saw in the first game, Chicago versus Boston, Marchand tried to bring Bedard into the Bruins bench. So there were more antics and more just kind of miscellaneous whatever messing around here from Bedard and Marchand yesterday. The other comment I wanted to look at here says this team needs help. Bedard and Reichel, who are both very young and playing on separate lines, are the only forwards who have skill and are not also predictably injured. Dvorsky has to take a good look at Shane Pinto. If the Hawks dangle a first-round pick that is likely to be in the 13 to 18 range, or maybe even top 5, how is Ottawa not doing that given their cap situation and lack of first-round pick in 2023? So yeah, cue all the Ottawa Senators fans that are going to come in here getting all ticked off that Shane Pinto is a guy that Blackhawks fans are calling out. In fact, there are a few comments throughout the Blackhawks subreddit saying that Pinto should be the guy that Blackhawks hockey goes after next. It's interesting, but I wanted to explore a few more comments regarding Bedard before talking about that Pinto idea. Here's another comment from Siamese Cat. I'm echoing a lot of the sentiments being shared here. I will say I've noticed a change in the way Bedard has played these last 3 games versus the first 4. He came out firing in those first few games, tons of shots, scoring opportunities, and seemed to have a lot more confidence. The last few games it's looked like he's been looking to pass a lot more, having some trouble stick handling, and he hasn't been able to create much space. I'll continue to beat the dead horse with you and say that Reichel should be given the opportunity to play on a line with Hall and Bedard. At this point, why not? And finally, there's another post made by Ivo Boltzmann. Here's a couple of things I'm interested in going forward. Alex Vlasic and Seth Jones have the best plus-minus on the team, but some of the worst advanced stats. Kevin Korchinski and Murphy have the worst plus-minus on the team, but have some of the best advanced stats. 2 things I've noticed with Bedard. First, he mishandles the puck quite a bit. Nerves, ice quality, bad luck? I'm interested to see how quickly that gets cleaned up. Secondly, he has troubles getting onto the puck. He routinely goes full shifts without getting his stick on the ice once. Will be interesting to see how much of that is us playing against really good teams versus other factors like line mates, learning the NHL, etc. We still have a while before we play some regular hockey teams. This is brutal. I wonder if any team has had a schedule like this to start the year before. And so to end off this video, I wanted to talk a little bit about that Shane Pinto thing. I wanted to propose the question here to Sens fans. If y'all are in this video and you're still here, because, I mean, this has been a pretty long commentary so far, what are your thoughts on the idea of the Blackhawks going after Pinto? You have guys on your team that have been playing well. Ridley Grigg is looking like a solid pickup there. I've been seeing some people saying that he's already better than what Pinto is right now. Kubalik is a guy whom you probably need to trade because he has not been there to show up in the ways we thought he would be. But that guy's got negative value. You're not going to be able to trade that guy away for anything that is that you want. Mathieu Joseph has been a lot better than we expected, so I feel like there's a little bit more desire to keep him around in the lineup rather than send him away. But with the way the Sens have gone out this season, I mean, Shane Pinto is still unsigned at the time of recording this audio. Do you really need this guy? I mean, I know a lot of Sens fans would not want to give up on him right away, but with the contract situation going the way it's been going, I mean, you may have no choice but to eventually see what options are on the table, right? If it's a first-round pick from Chicago, you gotta remember they have 2 in the upcoming draft. One of them is going to be a good one. One of them is not going to be maybe too high up there. But if it's a first-round pick for Shane Pinto, is that a deal you make? Ottawa fans got to remember that Pinto was taken at the end, or let's say the beginning of the second round a few years ago. So if you trade this guy away for a first-round pick, then all of a sudden that's a pretty good advance up in the draft. You go up by a few spots there, but of course, it's just a very hypothetical idea. It's one that I've seen a lot of Blackhawks fans tossing around there. So you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Connor Bedard, he does need help. Is Shane Pinto going to be that guy?
And if not, what are the Blackhawks going to do to address this entire situation? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.